Okay, Niall, so I'm just going to kind of continue where we left off. I totally get it with the family and everything going on there, especially being evening time with you guys. So I'm just going to continue on, and then you can watch this video at your leisure and kind of go over things. So what we did is just designed a session, right? So I put back squat in, set your parameters how you want. I put burpee in there, and then I superset it, okay, by clicking the chain link. And then remember, circuits are a great tool. And not only for things like warm-ups, but even like if you have some conditioning circuits, okay, sorry I can't type, there's a cool little like example here, right? So like a circuit, you just create 3 rounds, not for time, 10 shoulder press, thrusts, 10 reverse lunges, 10 dead bugs. Anything you can think of, you can throw here into a circuit, save it, and reuse and recycle those things. But more often than not, I just use this for simple things like a dynamic warm-up. Okay, you can see now that my dynamic warm-up here on the left-hand side is in the middle of the training session. Maybe I just forgot to add it. That's totally fine. Just add it at the end and use your little arrow here, Niall, move circuit up, just to bump this to the top of the session. So there you go. You got your dynamic warm-up, and I got my working sets here. And you can build this out as far as you want. You could have A through Z in here in blocks. You could have B1 through B10 if you wanted a huge mega set. Okay, but that's really pretty much at your discretion. All right, so that's building a training session. And this looks the same, Niall, here in the library, okay, as it would if I was going to add training right to an athlete's calendar. So I can add, I don't have to build things out in the library. I can actually go to someone's calendar, Phil, for example, like we looked at before, and I can jump in and I can build training right on Phil's calendar here, and it's the same exact thing as you'd notice. Another thing about calendars, Niall, that's pretty cool, is let me go back to February. These things, if they're published, okay, these say unpublished. If they're published, the athletes can see them and they're live, so you can't edit them. But if you want to make these things unpublished, you can click these buttons here, okay, and unpublish these things, and now they're editable. So I can move them right from day to day. Simply just, sorry, my mouse is freaking out. I can click and drag this thing. I can right-click and copy sessions. I can click and drag, Niall, and I can right-click and copy all 3 sessions, and then post them in back-to-back weeks and make minor adjustments if need be. Okay, so a lot of versatility here in the calendar. And again, this is the same thing on an athlete's calendar as it would be on a team's calendar. So big takeaways here. If you want the athletes to see the training, make sure it's published. I can click Publish All or click these 3 dots and publish individual sessions. Okay, and remember, I can always use my hotkeys and my mouse to move things around. All right, so that's just a little bit more about calendars and manipulating training sessions. Where this thing gets really, really cool, Niall, is with the data feedback. So I'm going to move down here to the 5th tool down on the toolbar on the left-hand side. It says Reports. Okay, so I can create a new report, and we'll give you everything from a participation report. Okay, did the athletes do the training or did they not? Okay, on specific dates, to what were these athletes lifting in these particular lifts on this particular day. Okay, this is a benchmark snapshot, all the way to a progress report. Right, this is going to show in a date range that you choose, start and end, with the movements that you pick. What was our improvement over that period of time, right? So, for example, Andre, when he started, was back squatting 265 pounds, finished at 485. That's a change of 220 pounds with a PR of 551. Okay, so pretty cool there. And these things are super easy to set up, right? So I click Select. I want to run a progress report on my football players. I'm going to select them all, pick my date range, or whatever you see fit. Maybe we go, from January 1 to today. Okay, and then I can look at my any exercise. So maybe we got bench press, all right, 1 rep max. Maybe we got back squat, 1 rep max. Maybe I want let's do back squat, 1 rep max. Maybe I want to look at pull-ups. Okay, I can't type today, Niall. I'm sorry. Maybe I want to look at pull-ups. Okay, whatever I throw in there, we're going to pull that data automatically. You click Save and Run, and we're going to give you all of the progress for these lifts for all 10 of these folks. Okay, so pretty cool there. Pretty good way to get data. All right, analytics now. This is pretty brand new for us. All right, you're going to notice some stuff on here. Really, really cool. So like readiness. Every time the athletes jump into a training session, they'll be asked to complete a readiness survey. It's on a scale of 1 to 5, or it's a 5-question readiness survey on a scale of 1 to 5. So they'll be asked how well do they sleep, what kind of mood are they in, what's their energy like, are they feeling stressed, is their body sore, they'll grade themselves on a scale of 1 to 5. You'll get a composite readiness survey. One obviously, or readiness score. 1's poor, 5's they feel excellent. So you can kind of get a good gauge on their on the athlete's readiness. And then obviously all of these things here in analytics, you pick the date range you want to look at. Okay, so jumping back in, I can look at readiness for individual athletes or the team. I can look at performance for the individual athlete or the team. Okay, say I want to look at a team's performance. We'll look at football. All right, all of my football players cleans. Okay, it'll give me the list of the players. All right, the exercise, what date did they do it on? Right, again, you can pick the date range, how many reps they did, what the weight was, and what their estimated 1 rep max was. Okay, so pretty cool there. I can do the same thing for athlete. I can look at lift history. Okay, pick a lift, and then it'll show me everything from the last time they did it to the first time they did it and how they've improved. Okay, I can look at training summary. All right, we'll do this one for the athlete. So view session stats, including readiness, volume, and intensity. So if I click an athlete, I'll click Ron here. All right, pick my date range, and this is going to give you, who did, what the athlete's name is, when they did the training. Important here, Niall, is that sometimes the athletes won't do the training on the day you've prescribed it. Okay, so we're going to give you the actual training date. So say, for example, it's Thursday now. I missed Wednesday's training because of, life happens, right? Maybe I had a screaming child, just couldn't get to it. We're going to know what date that session was planned for, and then we're going to give you the date that they completed it, so you know that they may not have done it on that particular day. But anyways, we'll give you the calendar, right? We'll give you what the session was, how many reps they did, what the total volume was, how long it took, their perceived intensity of the training session, right? Blocks completed against blocks prescribed, and then again the readiness to reference. Okay, so essentially all the data you'll need, coach, are going to be in these 4 blocks here. Okay, and then obviously compliance is going to be, you pick your team. Okay, we'll look at all of the folks, see how many sessions they've logged, all right, compared to sessions prescribed, all right, the percentage that they're hitting at, right? So are they doing 99% of the training? Are they doing 29% of the training? This is kind of gives you who's complying and who's not with the training. Okay, and then progress, obviously this is kind of like that report in the reports tab. Right, we're going to show you progress over time. So you pick the exercise. We'll tell you the first date the athlete completed it, the last date, the 1 rep max when they started, the 1 rep max when they finished, the difference, and the percentage difference. Okay, so ton of information here in analytics. Really good. Don't worry about marketplace here. That's something we can talk about in another day. Okay. Moving on down the line here, TMap. This is a great way for multiple folks to train in the space at one time. So I could have all 4 athletes up here on the TMap, right? Phil's up. He's going to click his name with his finger on the tablet. He'll punch in his data for the set. Rich is up. Rich will touch his name with his finger, jump in and fill out his information. Josh the same way, and then Justin the same way. Okay, so this is an app where you have a tablet attached to the rack. The athletes can go in, maybe training groups 4, 5, or 6, punch in their data, right, and all be logging on the same tablet at the same time. Okay. Leaderboard. This is, I referenced this earlier. This is going to be a way for you to create some competition, some friendly competition among your athletes. Okay, so we set a leaderboard event. All right, obviously we don't have anything set right now, but this is going to be a living and breathing page. As athletes enter data in real time for that specific leaderboard event, they're going to update here. Okay, so they're going to see exactly where they stand among their peers on that specific movement that you wanted them to record. Okay, and as they enter their data, they'll move around depending on where their position is. All right, so pretty cool there. You can project this into a space, this screen here on a TV in the gym, or the athletes will also get it on their mobile phone and the tablet, so they'll always know where they're at. All right, in regards to competing. Okay, so that's the leaderboard. And the last thing here, the whiteboard, this is just a way that you can cast or project training onto a TV in the space. Maybe we don't want folks to have their phone or tablet on with them. Maybe we're just doing some foam rolling or myofascial, or it's something simple today. I can cast that onto a screen in the space, and they can execute that training just looking at this thing. That's essentially it, Niall. From here up is 99% of this thing. All right, where you'll focus here in the next couple days will probably be teams, right? Create a couple teams, invite some athletes, and then build out some training in the library. So let's focus here on these 3 top tabs first. Then we can move into maybe collecting some data and then maybe throwing something up on the whiteboard. But for our immediate purposes, this is where you're going to live, right? Create a team, all right? Invite some athletes or invite yourself with another email address, okay, than the one you signed up for the trial, so you can check it out on the app. And then the library, obviously building training out, pre-designing training from a blank template. So give that a shot. Let me know if you have any questions, man. I hope this was helpful. If anything pops up, let me know. Shoot me an email, and I can get back to you as swiftly as possible. Hope you have a great night, Niall. I look forward to talking to you.